The last echoes of the day's lessons had long since faded, leaving the Hogwarts corridors to the whispers of ancient magic and the gentle creaks of settling stone. Outside the tall, arched windows of the Ravenclaw dormitory, the moon hung like a silver coin in the velvet sky, casting long, dancing shadows across the neatly made beds and towering bookcases. Most of your housemates were deep in the dreamless sleep of the truly exhausted, their soft, rhythmic breaths a comforting, mundane counterpoint to the vibrant, almost alive silence of the castle. But for you, sleep remained elusive, not from restlessness, but from a peculiar, almost melodic hum that seemed to emanate directly from beneath your pillow. It wasn't loud, no more than the faintest resonance of a forgotten tune, a melody spun from starlight and old secrets. You'd first noticed it a few nights ago, a subtle vibration that was distinctly magical, unlike any charm or spell you'd encountered in your extensive studies. It was a call, a quiet summons that tugged at the very core of your being. Specifically, that part of you that craved knowledge, the insatiable curiosity that defined every true raven. You prided yourself on your ability to discern the subtle nuances of magic, to unravel complex enchantments, and to piece together arcane puzzles. This hum, however, was different. It wasn't a puzzle to be solved with logic, but a mystery that whispered of deeper, intuitive truths. It felt ancient, profound, and profoundly significant, carefully, so as not to disturb your sleeping dormmates. You reached a hesitant hand under your pillow, your fingers brushing against the cool, smooth surface of something metallic. You withdrew it slowly, and in the faint, ethereal moonlight filtering through the windows, a small silver locket gleamed softly in your palm. It was exquisitely crafted, an antique by the look of it, with intricate, swirling patterns etched into its surface, so delicate they seemed to shift and dance in the dim light. It wasn't a family heirloom, nor was it anything you'd ever seen among your classmates' possessions, or even in the treasure-filled vaults of the Room of Requirement. Yet, as it lay in your hand, it seemed almost to pulse with a gentle inner light, a soft, inviting glow that deepened its connection to the pervasive hum. The hum intensified noticeably in your hand, a warm, encouraging thrum against your palm, a silent urging to explore its secrets, a fleeting thought of the restricted best section of the library with its forbidden tomes and ancient texts flickered through your mind. Perhaps the locket's origin lay within those dusty, magical pages, a forgotten relic of Hogwarts' long and storied history, a piece of lore waiting to be rediscovered. But the locket's call was more immediate, more visceral, a gentle pull towards something beyond mere written knowledge. It felt like a story, a living narrative waiting to unfold, a mystery that demanded to be experienced rather than merely read about. The faint, metallic scent of old silver mingled with something else, something subtly sweet and comforting, like moon-dusted lavender and the ethereal, forgotten scent of an old, treasured memory. It was the scent of pure, unadulterated magic, imbued with a strange sense of longing, You swung your legs over the side of the bed with practiced ease, your bare feet meeting the cool, smooth stone floor with barely a whisper. The dormitory was a mosaic of deep, quiet shadows, punctuated only by the rhythmic, soft breaths of your sleeping housemates. You reached for your wand, a slender hazelwood with a unicorn hair core, its familiar weight a comforting presence. In your hand, the locket, still cradled in your other palm, seemed to resonate with the wand's magic, creating a harmonious hum between them. You held the locket up to the moonlight, and as the light kissed its surface, the intricate etched patterns seemed to ripple, to subtly shift, as if hinting at a deeper design, a hidden pathway visible only to those who knew how to look. The hum intensified, becoming a distinct, almost hypnotic rhythm, gently but unmistakably drawing you towards the dormitory door. You moved with a quiet grace, born of countless late-night wanderings, your steps barely disturbing the serene quiet bars of the castle. The Ravenclaw common room was deserted, bathed in the soft, intellectual glow of its grand fireplace, which had been reduced to a warm, silent shimmer. The high, vaulted ceiling, adorned with constellations that perfectly mirrored the night sky outside, seemed to stretch into infinity, creating a sense of both grandeur and tranquil solitude. The pervasive scent of old books and subtle magic was a constant, comforting companion here. Your gaze, however, did not linger. It drifted instead to the large, arched windows that offered a sweeping, breathtaking view of the Hogwarts grounds. The black lake lay like a sheet of polished obsidian under the moon, reflecting the myriad stars with an ethereal brilliance, a silent, ancient mirror to the heavens. Yet it wasn't the lake that drew your attention, nor the sprawling, shadowy expanse of the forbidden forest. Instead, your eyes fell upon the towering, unmistakable silhouette of the astronomy tower, its highest turret piercing the inky sky, like a defiant sentinel reaching for the stars. The locket in your hand pulsed with a gentle, consistent warmth, a steady beacon against the coolness of the night. The humming intensified, vibrating through your entire arm, pointing unmistakably towards the tower. A profound sense of quiet adventure stirred within you, a thrill that was less about danger and more about discovery. The astronomy tower, usually a place of academic observation and whispered scientific theories, felt different tonight, infused with a hidden purpose, a deeper significance. The locket wasn't merely guiding you, it was urging you, gently but firmly, towards a revelation that felt both personal and universally magical. You navigated the familiar, winding staircases and silent corridors with an uncanny sense of direction. The only sounds, the soft padding of your bare feet and the steady, rhythmic hum of the locket. Portraits along the walls remained undisturbed in their slumber, their painted gazes fixed in peaceful repose, oblivious to your nocturnal quest. The suits of armor stood sentinel at various turns, their empty helms glinting faintly in the dim light, their imposing presence somehow comforting rather than intimidating. You felt no unease, only a growing sense of anticipation, a thrilling, certainty that you were on the verge of uncovering something truly extraordinary. You passed the library, its dark, towering shelves holding countless unread stories. But tonight, your own unique story was unfolding, one step at a time. Each step was deliberate, silent, a pilgrimage towards the profound mystery awaiting you. Finally, after what felt like both moments and an eternity, you emerged onto the open-air battlements of the astronomy tower. The cool night air was a refreshing embrace against your skin, a stark but invigorating contrast to the castle's interior. The vast expanse of the sky stretched above you, an infinite canvas dusted with diamond stars that seemed brighter, closer, more numerous from this elevated vantage point. The constellations blazed with an intensity rarely seen from lower ground, and you found yourself momentarily lost in their silent, ancient majesty. Orion, Cassiopeia, Draco. They seemed to twinkle with a knowing light, as if they too were privy to the locket's secret, as if they were watching, waiting. You clutched the locket a little tighter, its warmth a small, steady beacon in the chill. The air was crisp and clean, carrying the faint, distant scent of the forbidden forest and the deeper, sweeter aroma of the castle's ancient Muscovite stone. The hum from the locket now vibrated through your entire body, a resonant frequency that seemed to align with the very pulse of the night sky. It pulled you forward, towards the very edge of the battlements, to a small, often overlooked, stone archway that seemed to lead nowhere but the vast, open sky. You had always thought it was merely decorative, a quaint remnant of ancient architecture, a curious design flourish. But as you approached it now, the locket's hum reached a crescendo, a deep, resonant chord, and then the intricate patterns spun on its silver surface began to glow with a soft, ethereal light, shimmering with an otherworldly luminescence that seemed to perfectly mirror the constellations swirling above. The light seemed to project outwards from the locket, forming a faint, almost invisible pathway, a shimmering bridge of pure starlight that extended outwards from the archway, hovering impossibly over the vast, empty space below. A profound sense of wonder, unmixed with any trace of fear, filled you. This wasn't a dangerous leap into the unknown. It was an invitation, a solemn and breathtaking summons. The locket wasn't just a guide. It was a key, unlocking a path to something truly magical and unseen. The shimmering pathway beckoned you forward, its celestial glow illuminating the space before you. You took a deep, steadying breath, the crisp night air filling your lungs, a silent acknowledgement of the extraordinary moment. As you took that first brave step through the archway and onto the star-spun bridge, the familiar world around you seemed to dissolve and reform, like mist under a rising sun. The sturdy stone battlements of the astronomy tower faded, replaced by an ethereal expanse of pure moonlight and distant, swirling galaxies. You weren't falling, you were floating, suspended weightlessly in a boundless ocean of cosmic dust and silent, ancient magic. The locket in your hand pulsed with a serene, comforting rhythm, its light expanding to envelop you completely in a bubble of warmth, a personal shield against the infinite void, bore around you. Nebulae painted the expanse with impossible brushstrokes of vibrant, shifting colors, emerald greens melting into sapphire blues, punctuated by fiery oranges and deep purples, while distant stars twinkled like scattered jewels, each one a universe unto itself. You felt utterly weightless, unbound by gravity, by time, by the very confines of the world you knew. This wasn't merely travel. It was an experience, a journey into the heart of magic itself, a direct communion with the cosmos. The hum in your hand quieted, becoming a soft, internal echo, a gentle lullaby of the cosmos, sung by the stars themselves. You were moving, not through terrestrial space, but through a dream woven from starlight, guided by the silent, ancient secret held within the shimmering silver locket. And as the distant nebulae began to resolve into familiar, yet impossibly vast and luminous, celestial bodies, you knew this was only the beginning of the locket's wondrous tale, a story whispered from the edges of the universe, just for you. Asterisk. The sensation of floating continued, a gentle drift through an infinite tapestry of starlight. You weren't cold, despite the vastness of space. The locket's warm, ethereal glow formed a comforting cocoon around you, shimmering with the soft, iridescent colors of a distant nebula. There was no up or down, no sense of direction as you understood it. Instead, you were simply there, suspended in a breathtaking tableau where galaxies spiraled like colossal pinwheels of light and shimmering. Dust clouds painted the void with brushstrokes of impossible hues. It was a silent symphony, a cosmic ballet performed just for you. The hum from the locket had deepened, no longer a mere vibration, but a resonant thrum that seemed to harmonize with the very fabric of the universe around you. It was a lullaby, indeed, a song sung by the stars themselves, calming every nerve and settling your spirit into a profound sense of peace. You felt an extraordinary connection to everything, as if you were a part of this grand, celestial dance, a tiny yet vital note in the endless melody of existence. As you drifted, patterns began to emerge from the seemingly random scatter of play stars. Not just the familiar constellations you knew from your astronomy lessons, but new, impossibly vast formations. Constellations woven from entire star systems, each star a sun to its own unseen planets. Some sparkled with a fierce, diamond-like pretensity, while others pulsed with a gentle, milky luminescence, like faraway pearls. You recognized the faint outline of Orion's belt, but it was dwarfed by a colossal, shimmering serpent of stars that seemed to coil around the entire cosmic sphere, its tail disappearing into the unreachable depths of the void. And there, closer, now, was a constellation that captivated you instantly. It resembled a magnificent, winged creature, not quite an eagle, nor a dragon, but something more ancient, more mythical. Its wings spread wide as if soaring through the cosmic ocean. Its brightest stars burned with a soft, inviting blue light, and the locket's hum intensified, pulling you gently but irresistibly towards it. As you drew nearer, the stars of the winged constellation seemed to grow in size, resolving from pinpoints of light into shimmering orbs, each one radiating its own unique warmth and hue. You realized, with a breathtaking gasp that produced no sound in this silent realm, that you weren't merely approaching a collection of stars. You were entering a vast celestial landscape. The stars weren't distant suns, but gateways, swirling vortexes of light and color. The locket pulsed in your hand, its glow brightening, and as you drifted closer to the heart of the winged constellation, one particular star, radiating a deep, comforting sapphire blue, seemed to open, drawing you in like a gentle breath. The transition was seamless, like stepping through a veil of liquid light. One moment you were amidst the cosmic ocean, the next you found yourself standing on what felt like solid ground, though it certainly wasn't earth. The ground beneath your bare feet was cool and soft, feeling like finely ground stardust, subtly sparkling with every step. Above the sky was a deep, impossible indigo, not black, and instead of a single moon, several smaller, luminous celestial bodies, each a different shade of silver and gold, drifted slowly across the heavens, casting an ethereal, shifting light on the landscape. The air was still and warm, carrying a faint, sweet scent, like blooming night flowers infused with pure light. You looked around, utterly enchanted. You were in a clearing, surrounded by towering, translucent trees, whose branches glowed with a gentle, inner luminescence, their leaves shimmering like countless tiny prisms. The light they emitted was soft, creating dancing patterns of blue, violet, and silver across the ethereal ground. From their boughs hung delicate, bell-shaped flowers made of pure light, each one chiming softly with a note that resonated deep within your soul, a harmonious continuation of the locket's lullaby. The sound was not auditory in the conventional sense, but rather a sensation, a vibration of pure joy and tranquility that filled the air. These were no ordinary trees. They were living conduits of starlight, ancient and serene. The locket in your hand felt strangely heavy now, yet not burdensome. Its glow pulsed in sync with the chimes of the light flowers, and as you raised it, the locket opened with a soft, almost imperceptible click. Inside, nestled on a bed of velvety midnight blue, was not a photograph or a trinket, but a single, perfectly formed feather. It wasn't an ordinary feather. It shimmered with the same iridescent blue as the luminous star you had passed through, and when you gently touched its surface, it felt impossibly soft, like spun moonlight. As your finger brushed against it, a faint, almost silent whisper filled. Bend. It wasn't a voice, but a fleeting thought, a sense of immense peace and longing, imbued with the deep wisdom of ages. It felt like a memory, yet it was not your own. It was a memory woven from the very fabric of this celestial realm. You looked at the feather, then back at the glowing trees and chiming flowers. A profound realization settled over you. This wasn't just a place of beauty. It was a sanctuary, a haven of forgotten magic preserved somewhere beyond the veil of ordinary reality. The locket hadn't just transported you. It had revealed a hidden corner of existence, a place where the magic of the cosmos converged with ancient earthly spells. The gentle hum returned, no longer pulling you, but simply being a constant, soothing presence. You felt an overwhelming sense of belonging, as if this celestial clearing had been waiting for you, and for the locket to bring you here. As you stood there, absorbing the tranquility of this starlit grove, a faint, rhythmic pulse began to emanate from the ground beneath your feet, vibrating up through the stardust. It was different from the locket's hum, deeper, more primal. It wasn't alarming, but rather like a slow, deliberate heartbeat of the land itself. The glowing trees around you seemed to dim slightly, their light receding back into their translucent forms, and the chiming of the light flowers softened, becoming a distant echo. The shift was subtle, not threatening, but undeniably present, drawing your attention. You looked down and saw that the ground itself was beginning to glow with a faint internal luminescence emanating from beneath the sparkling stardust. The light grew steadily, pushing upwards, forming swirling patterns of soft, silver light that spiraled slowly outwards from a central point. It was as if something ancient, buried deep within this celestial earth, was slowly, deliberately stirring. The locket, still open in your hand, pulsed faintly, its own light seeming to respond to the growing glow from the ground, as if in recognition or anticipation. The feather inside its velvet bed seemed to shimmer with a heightened intensity, reflecting the rising light from below. You had found a place of profound beauty and ancient peace, but it seemed its deeper mysteries were only just beginning to reveal themselves. The glowing patterns beneath your feet intensified, swirling like a slow-motion galaxy on the ground, pushing upwards through the fine stardust. The gentle pulse that had begun to emanate from the celestial earth now resolved into a soft, resonant thrum, a beat that felt as old as time itself, a deep, ancient heartbeat echoing through this hidden realm. It wasn't just light you were sensing, but a profound energy, something vital and deeply magical. The translucent, light-emitting trees around you, which had momentarily dimmed now, pulsed with renewed luminescence, their leaves shimmering with an even more vibrant array of silver and blue, as if drawing strength from the rising light from below. The belt-shaped light flowers on their branches chimed in a chorus, a silent symphony that resonated directly within your spirit, a melody of pure enchantment, filling the air with a palpable sense of cosmic harmony. The locket, still open in your hand, its internal feather shimmering with iridescent blue, seemed to respond instinctively to this burgeoning energy. Its own gentle warmth grew, and the subtle internal hum that had been its constant companion since you found it now harmonized with the land's pulse, creating a rich, multi-layered resonance that filled the entire clearing, vibrating through every fiber of your being. You felt a deepening, almost symbiotic connection to the locket, as if it were not merely an object, but a living extension of this starlit sanctuary. intimately tied to its deepest secrets. The ancient memories that had brushed your mind upon, touching the feather, now felt closer, clearer, like images on the verge of full manifestation, just beyond the veil of conscious thought. You instinctively knew that whatever was stirring beneath the ground was intrinsically linked to the locket, to the feather, and to the very profound reason you had been drawn here, across the cosmic ocean. As the light from the ground grew brighter, it began to coalesce with mesmerizing grace, forming a visible column of swirling, silver-blue energy that rose steadily from the central point you had observed. Befine stardust beneath your bare feet danced and swirled in response, like countless tiny, luminous particles caught in an invisible upward current. The column of light wasn't blinding. Instead, it was soft and inviting, a beacon of pure, concentrated magic that seemed to hum with an unheard song. Within its ethereal glow, faint outlines began to take shape, shimmering like heat haze over a summer road, constantly shifting and reforming. You squinted, your Ravenclaw curiosity surging to its peak, trying to discern the forms within the light. They weren't solid, not yet, but seemed to be impressions, ephemeral echoes from another time or place, almost like a dream caught in the process of fading. You saw fleeting images, a figure with flowing robes, too distant to make out features, but radiating an aura of ancient wisdom, a glimmer of an ancient scroll, its parchment seeming to unroll and then vanish. A cascade of sparkling water that vanished as quickly as it appeared, only to reappear in a different part of the column. The locket in your hand tugged, a gentle but insistent pull, drawing you closer to the radiant column. You didn't hesitate for a moment. Every instinct, every fiber of your being, every whisper of intuition told you to trust this profound guidance. As you approached the swirling column of light, the air around you grew perceptibly warmer, infused with an indescribable fragrance, a complex mixture of fresh, pre-dawn rain, the delicate sweetness of blooming night jasmine, and something profoundly old, like the concentrated scent of magic itself, preserved for millennia within these celestial confines. The hum from the locket and the pulse from the ground merged into a single, continuous vibration that enveloped you entirely, a comforting, all-encompassing blanket of pure energy, almost like a gentle, rhythmic heartbeat felt throughout your body. As you stood at the very edge of the light column, close enough to feel the ethereal currents against your skin, the shimmering outlines within it solidified just enough for your mind to grasp and recognize them. They weren't individual objects or distinct people, not precisely. They were memories, pure and vibrant, playing out like silent, three-dimensional tableau within the surging energy. You saw a flash of a majestic, winged creature, the same one depicted in the constellation that had brought you here, soaring effortlessly through a sky filled with multiple moons, its powerful wings catching the light. Then, a scene of cloaked figures, their faces obscured by deep shadow, gathered reverently around a glowing altar, chanting in a language you didn't understand. Yet its ancient rhythm resonated deeply with the locket's lullaby, a language felt more than heard. The most prominent memory, however, was of a solitary, magnificent tree, unlike any you had seen. Its gnarled, luminous branches reaching towards a showering of falling stars, each star landing softly on its leaves and being absorbed as if the tree itself was drinking the celestial light, growing stronger with each celestial drop. The locket hummed louder, its vibrations becoming more intense, and the iridescent feather within its opened casing seemed to vibrate with a life of its own, paw almost fluttering within its velvet bed, as if on cue, or perhaps in perfect synchronicity with your understanding. A single brilliant ray of silver blue light shot out from the very center of the locket, straight towards the base of the luminous column. The moment it connected, the column of light exploded outwards, not with a jarring bang, but with a silent, magnificent burst of shimmering energy, expanding rapidly like a cosmic flower blooming. The light didn't disperse into the vastness. Instead, it condensed, drawing inward upon itself with astonishing speed and grace, forming a single radiant sphere that now hovered a few feet above the ground, directly before you. This sphere pulsed with an internal fire, shifting mesmerically from deep sapphire to brilliant white, and at its very heart you could discern a faint, shimmering outline of what looked unmistakably like a heart. Not a biological organ, but one made of pure, concentrated starlight, pulsating with life. This was the star heart. You felt it with an undeniable certainty, a truth that resonated deep within your soul. It was the absolute source of the ancient pulse, the vibrant core of this celestial realm, and perhaps the very reason the winged constellation had guided you across the cosmos. The locket trembled in your hand, almost vibrating with anticipation, mirroring the gentle dance of the star heart. The feather inside it seemed to quiver, its iridescent sheen flaring brightly, as if eager to return to its origin. You understood, instinctively, that the locket and the feather were intrinsically linked to this star heart, perhaps ancient fragments of its vast essence, or sacred keys to its profound power, imbued with the cosmic energy of creation. The air around the star heart shimmered with such potent magic that it felt tangibly alive, tingling against your skin like 1,000 tiny sparks of starlight. It was inviting you, gently, patiently, to reach out, to connect, to merge with its ancient wisdom as you extended your hand towards the hovering star heart. Drawn by an irresistible force, you noticed something astonishing. The glowing patterns on the ground beneath you, the ones that had risen to form the light column, now began to swirl rapidly round your feet, creating a subtle, luminous vortex of shimmering stardust. And in that vortex, faint, shimmering symbols began to appear, intricate runes that pulsed with the same pure silver blue light as the star heart itself. They were not runes from any ancient runic alphabet you had ever studied in Hogwarts, nor from any language known to human wizardkin. These were cosmic symbols, primordial symbols of creation and celestial energy, their forms shifting and reforming with elegant, silent fluidity. As you looked at them, a flash of pure understanding, A surge of raw knowledge flooded your mind. These symbols were a language, the true language of the stars, speaking not through sound or written word, but through pure concept and emotion, directly to your consciousness. It was as if the universe itself was whispering its deepest truths. You felt no fear, only a profound sense of privilege, wonder, and calm. This entire extraordinary journey, from the moment you found the locket under your pillow to this very instant, had been meticulously leading you to this specific moment, to this magnificent revelation. The locket wasn't just a key. It was a conduit, a translator, allowing you to perceive and understand the ancient, boundless magic of this place, the very essence of the cosmos. The star heart pulsed rhythmically, its gentle light bathing you in unparalleled warmth and peace, and the cosmic symbols swirled faster and brighter around your feet, their message growing clearer, waiting, immune, with a certainty that resonated through your entire being, that the next step was to truly connect, to touch the star heart, and allow its ancient, boundless magic to unfold within you. It was not a demand, but a profound invitation, an unparalleled opportunity to delve deeper into the universe's most beautiful and guarded secrets. The air thrummed with unspoken promise, as your outstretched hand, guided by an invisible force, finally connected with the radiant surface of the star heart. A sensation unlike anything you had ever experienced surged through you. It wasn't a physical touch in the conventional sense, but a merging of energies, a silent communion that transcended mere sensation. The star heart didn't feel solid or liquid. It felt like pure, concentrated light, a living essence that resonated deep within your very core, a sympathetic vibration, that echoed through every cell of your being. Breathtaking cascade of shimmering silver-blue energy flowed from the star heart into your palm, radiating warmth and pure light up your arm, through your chest, and throughout your entire body, settling into your very bones. You felt yourself become a conduit, a vessel for this ancient cosmic power, imbued with its silent strength. The small, iridescent feather within the locket in your other hand glowed with an extraordinary intensity, its blue hues deepening into a vibrant sapphire, almost burning with an internal flame. The locket itself pulsed in perfect, synchronous rhythm with the star heart, as if they were long-lost companions, finally reunited after eons of separation. The cosmic symbols swirling round your feet exploded into a brilliant, ephemeral display, above light, dancing with renewed vigor and complexity before slowly fading, leaving behind a profound sense of understanding that settled like a warm, comforting blanket over your mind. It was as if you had just learned an entire language without a single spoken word, gaining instant access to a vast, boundless library of celestial knowledge, ancient truths woven into the very fabric of existence. Every question you never knew you had about the cosmos seemed to find an answer in that fleeting, luminous display. Then the true magic began. As the star heart's energy settled within you, you felt a fundamental shift, not in your physical form, but in your perception, in the very way you experienced reality. The ethereal clearing around you, with its towering, glowing trees and chiming light flowers, seemed to deepen in resolution, becoming more vivid, more real, as if a veil had been lifted from your senses. The light flowers began to bloom more exquisitely, their silent chimes growing richer, layering into a complex, harmonious melody that resonated deep within your mind. A pure, wordless song composed of light and vibration. This was the true lullaby of the cosmos, the profound, ancient melody the locket had only hinted at, now unfolding around you in its full, majestic glory. A symphony that had played since the dawn of time. It wasn't just beautiful, it was a living history, a narrative woven from pure sound and light, carrying the echoes of forgotten ages. And within that celestial song, a memory, clearer and more poignant than any fleeting image you had glimpsed before, began to unfold around you. It wasn't just a vision you were witnessing. You were in it, a silent, unseen participant. You found yourself standing in the very same starlit grove, but it felt different, vibrating with a bustling, yet profoundly peaceful energy that hummed with ancient life. Before you stood not just one, but many figures, ethereal and luminous, their forms shifting like starlight caught in a gentle breeze, their movements fluid and graceful. They seemed to be guardians, or perhaps tenders, of this sacred place, their presence radiating a quiet reverence. They were not human, nor wizard, less you understood them, but beings composed of pure starlight and ancient wisdom, their forms shimmering with a gentle inner light. Their faces were indistinct, yet you felt an overwhelming sense of benevolent purpose from them. Among them, one figure stood out, radiating a particular brilliance. Taller than the rest, their form was less ethereal, more defined, radiating a gentle, compassionate light that seemed to draw all other light towards it. This being knelt before the very spot where the Starheart now hovered, their luminous hands gently tending to the base of the gigantic ancient tree you had seen in the earlier memory, the one that absorbed falling stars, the tree itself, now vibrant and deeply rooted, pulsed with a gentle golden light, its immense branches laden with glimmering, star-infused fruit, each one a miniature galaxy unto itself. The leader's face, though still indistinct, conveyed an overwhelming sense of profound love and deep responsibility, a dedication to nurturing and protecting this sacred life. As they worked, a soft, melodious hum emanated from them, a lullaby that perfectly mirrored the one you were now hearing, the very essence of the song that radiated from the Starheart itself, a testament to their deep connection to this realm. Suddenly, a subtle but undeniable disturbance rippled through the peaceful scene. The starlight beings paused, their luminous forms flickering with concern, their previously serene expressions now tinged with an ethereal anxiety. The exquisite melody of the light flowers faltered, a discordant note entering the perfect harmony, and the gentle hum of the leader deepened into a resonant note of worry, a silent alarm, a shadow, not of darkness, but of distorted light. began to spread across the celestial sky above them, a corrupted shimmer that seemed to drain the vibrancy from the distant stars, absorbing their brilliance, leaving behind an unnerving void. It was a subtle corruption at first, like a stain on pure silk, but undeniably malevolent, growing steadily like a discordant, grating sound introduced into a perfect symphony, threatening to shatter it. The peaceful hum from the star heart within you wavered for the first time, echoing the profound ancient distress of this celestial realm. The leader of the starlight beings rose slowly, their luminous form hardening with an undeniable resolve. You could feel their deep sadness, a profound sorrow for the encroaching light, but also an unwavering determination to protect what they cherished. They turned towards the encroaching shadow, their hands rising slowly, deliberately, as they did a single brilliant blue feather, exactly like the one nestled in your locket, detached itself from their being, seemingly from their luminous chest, and floated gently into the air, shimmering with a defiance that belied its delicate nature. With a deep, almost mournful hum that pulsed with immense ancient power, they directed a wave of pure starlight towards the shadow, momentarily pushing it back, causing it to recoil like a burned hand. But the effort seemed to visibly drain them, their luminous form dimming noticeably, becoming fainter, as if their essence was being consumed. As the memory continued to play out, you saw the leader, weakened but resolute, approach the ancient, star-absorbing tree, its golden light now slightly muted by the encroaching threat. With a gesture of profound sorrow and desperate purpose, they gently plucked one of the star-infused fruits from its branch. The fruit pulsed with the same pure sapphire blue light as the feather, a beacon of hope in the deepening unease. With their remaining strength, they began to chant, not in words, but in pure, resonant tones that vibrated through your very soul, a desperate, powerful incantation that resonated with the very structure of the cosmos. The chant was a spell of preservation, a warding, a desperate attempt to protect a fragment of this realm's pure essence from the spreading corruption. As they chanted, their light dimmed further, but they infused the starfruit with their dwindling power, and with the blue feather into the small silver locket. It was the locket, the one you now held, its intricate patterns swirling into existence as the protective magic settled around it. The locket then glowed brightly, a final, brilliant flash, becoming an anchor, a vessel for their last, most precious hope. Then, with a final, heart-breaking hum, a note of profound farewell that echoed through the entire celestial grove, the leader, along with the locket containing the feather and the starfruit, vanished from the memory, propelled outwards, away from the encroaching shadow, into the unknown. The memory ended abruptly, dissolving back into the swirling light of the star heart, leaving you standing once more in the tranquil, luminous clearing. But now, this tranquility was imbued with a deeper, more profound understanding for you. The star heart pulsed with a quiet, persistent energy, no longer overwhelmed by the ancient memory, but resonating with its purpose, its deep, abiding hope. you realized, with a clarity that settled deep within your analytical Ravenclaw mind, the staggering truth. The locket wasn't just a key to this place. It was a fragment of the star heart itself, imbued with a portion of the pure, ancient magic and the very essence of its original guardian, the leader of the starlight beings. The blue feather was a piece of their being, a living fragment of their soul, and the starfruit, carefully preserved within, was a concentrated core of this realm's pure, uncorrupted energy, a seed of its original light. The locket had been sent out across dimensions, through time, carrying a message, a plea, a profound hope for the future, for a chance at restoration. And you, with your unique sensitivity to magic, with your insatiable curiosity, had been the one to find it, to be chosen, to be summoned. The gentle lullaby of the cosmos, which filled the air once more, now felt less like a song of peaceful existence and more like a quiet call to action, a plea for remembrance, and perhaps for the ultimate restoration of this celestial haven. The weight of this revelation was immense, yet it brought with it a profound sense of calm purpose, a quiet resolve settling deep within your heart. The immense weight of the revelation settled within you, not as a burdensome weight on your spirit, but as a profound and undeniable understanding that resonated deeply through your entire being. The star heart before you, pulsing with its captivating, sapphire glow, felt more than just an artifact. It was a living, ancient entity, its deep, harmonious melody now transformed into a clear, urgent plea for aid, echoing through the ethereal grove. The locket cradled in your hand, with its shimmering, iridescent feather, and the perfectly preserved starfruit nestled within, no longer felt like a mere magical trinket, but a vital link, a direct, undeniable connection to the celestial guardian, who had sent it forth across the vast reaches of time and space. You understood with chilling clarity that the subtle yet insidious corruption you had glimpsed in the ancient memory was not just a localized threat to this hidden, celestial realm, but perhaps a growing blight capable of affecting the very fabric of the cosmic magic that intrinsically intertwined with your own world, with all existence. Your Ravenclaw mind, ever keen on seeking solutions, on unraveling intricate and complex puzzles, immediately began to process the staggering implications. What could you possibly do? A mere student from Hogwarts, albeit a gifted one, standing in a celestial grove beyond the ordinary confines of time and space, before a pulsating star heart of unimaginable power, as if sensing your unspoken question. The star heart's light subtly shifted, its internal rhythms subtly changing, accelerating just a fraction. The soft, harmonious lullaby that had filled the air grew richer, expanding into a complex, multi-layered tapestry of pure sound and light, each note a shimmering thread in a grand design. This time, the celestial melody was not simply a historical account, a gentle recollection of the past, but a vibrant, insistent, guiding force, pulling you not outwards towards the infinite, vast cosmic ocean that shimmered beyond the grove, but inwards, towards the very ground directly beneath the ethereal glow The fine stardust that formed the celestial earth, which had previously been still, now began to stir and swirl with graceful fluidity, rising into the air like a delicate, luminous mist, catching and reflecting the ambient light. The mist coalesced with mesmerizing precision, forming intricate, three-dimensional images that floated around you, shimmering with soft, internal light. These were not mere memories this time, for they felt too vibrant, too dynamic. They were living projections, interactive and responsive to your presence. The first image was a breathtaking vision of the ancient, star-absorbing tree, now seen not from without, but from deep within. Its vast, intricate root system extending impossibly deep into layers of crystalline earth, reaching down into what felt like the very heart of the cosmos. Each individual root glowed faintly, pulsating with absorbed starlight, revealing a complex, living network of conduits, feeding the tree's immense, powerful magic. A system that defied mortal understanding. You realized, with a sudden surge of understanding, that this magnificent tree was not merely a living organism. It was an archive, a vast, living repository of celestial knowledge, its roots tapping directly into cosmic ley lines, tirelessly, storing eons of universal wisdom, silent and patient. As this awe-inspiring image gently faded, another took its place, equally breathtaking. This one was a truly vast, sprawling library, unlike any you had ever seen or even conceived of, stretching far beyond the grand and intricate confines of the Hogwarts library. Its towering shelves, built from light itself, stretched endlessly into a shimmering, luminous horizon, laden not with physical books or dusty tomes, but with glowing, ethereal scrolls, each one radiating a soft, unique light and humming with contained knowledge. Floating effortlessly among these luminous records were figures similar to the benevolent starlight beings you had glimpsed in the earlier memory. But these were dedicated to the silent, tireless task of cataloging, preserving, and maintaining these precious, luminous records. This was the true, comprehensive form of the Celestial Archive, not just the tree, but a complete, living collection of cosmic wisdom, meticulously organized and cared for. The images changed again with a silent grace, now showing specific scrolls unfurling before your eyes, revealing complex diagrams of constellations you'd never observed in your astronomy classes, intricate formulae for manipulating starlight, power, and cosmic energies, and sweeping, epic narratives of cosmic events that predated known wizarding history by unimaginable millennia. It was an overwhelming flood of information, yet deeply, exquisitely fascinating, unlocking dormant pathways in your Ravenclaw mind. The locket in your hand pulsed with an insistent urgency, its iridescent feather shimmering with an excited tremor, almost as if it recognized the wisdom being presented. The star heart seemed to focus its brilliant light, directing a concentrated beam towards a specific point on the ground, just beyond the edge of its own ethereal glow. The fine stardust at that precise spot parted with a silent whisper, revealing a perfectly smooth, obsidian-like surface. utterly round and shockingly black, absorbing all surrounding light, creating a void in the luminous grove. It was a stark, compelling contrast to the pervasive luminescence of your surroundings. As you stepped closer, drawn by an undeniable intellectual curiosity that bordered on compulsion, you saw faint, shimmering lines meticulously etched into its surface, too subtle to be seen at first glance, but clearly present once you focused. You instinctively recognized the lines. They were the very same celestial symbols that had pulsed around your feet when you first connected with the star heart, now etched into this ancient console. This obsidian surface was not just a stone slab. It was a profound console, an intricate interface to this hidden, living archive, a direct link to its boundless knowledge. As your gaze traced the symbols, the star heart gave another gentle, guiding thrum, a silent command. You understood with perfect clarity. To access the ancient knowledge within, you needed to interact with these symbols, to speak to the archive in its own profound language. The language of pure concept and emotion, which you had glimpsed earlier, now felt remarkably clear and accessible in your mind, an intuitive connection that bypassed mere words. Hesitantly, yet with growing confidence, you placed your hand by the smooth, cool surface of the obsidian console. As your fingers settled onto one of the softly glowing symbols, a ripple of soft light spread outwards from your touch, like water disturbing a calm pond, radiating across the console's surface. The console responded instantly, its surface momentarily brightening with a cascade of inner light before projecting a single, large image into the air before you, shimmering with stark detail. It was a terrifyingly clear depiction of the encroaching shadow, the very same corrupting force from the earlier memory, but now seen in far greater, more horrifying detail. It wasn't a solid entity, but a swirling, chaotic vortex of distorted starlight, its edges fraying and dissolving, consuming the brilliance of nearby celestial bodies, leaving them dull, lifeless husks in its wake. The sight brought a fresh wave of profound concern, a chilling dread, but also a fierce surge of determination, a resolve you hadn't known you possessed. You understood with certainty that this celestial archive held the answers, the methods, perhaps even the forgotten spells, play, and ancient rituals needed to counteract this pervasive cosmic blight. The next images projected by the console, as you intuitively guided it with your touch, depicted ancient, complex rituals of celestial preservation, forgotten spells of light manipulation, and intricate astronomical alignments, all aimed at restoring balance to corrupted celestial energies. It was highly advanced magic, far, far beyond anything taught in the hallowed halls of Hogwarts. But somehow, within this extraordinary realm, the complex concepts resonated with an innate understanding within you, as if you had always known them, deeply embedded within your Ravenclaw spirit, waiting for this moment of awakening. The sheer volume of knowledge was staggering, yet it flowed into your mind with ease. Suddenly, and without warning, The star heart pulsed with an urgent, almost frantic rhythm, its deep thrumming now carrying a note of distinct anxiety. The light flowers around you chimed frantically, their previously harmonious melody dissolving into a series of rapid, staccato notes, a clear alarm. You looked up from the console, your heart leaping into your throat, and gasped. Above you, in the impossibly indigo sky, a faint, wispy tendril of the very same corrupting shadow you had just seen in the projection was beginning to appear. It was thin, almost transparent, like a wisp of smoke, but it was unmistakably there, a growing, dark stain on the luminous, pristine fabric of this celestial haven, slowly stretching towards the grove like a predatory tendril. The threat was no longer confined to ancient memory. It was horrifyingly present, active, and seeking to infiltrate even this sacred sanctuary, this last bastion of purity. A chill that had nothing to do with temperature ran down your spine, a cold dread that mirrored the ancient fear of the starlight beings. The serene calm that had enveloped you throughout this extraordinary journey was now tinged with a new, potent, and undeniable emotion, urgency. The locket in your hand vibrated intensely, a desperate signal, and the blue feather within it seemed to beat like a tiny, anxious heart, yearning. The thin tendril of corrupting shadow stretched further across the celestial sky, a chilling testament to the growing peril. It was no longer just a distant threat, but an immediate presence, its distorted edges seeming to flicker with malevolent intent. The once pure indigo heavens above the grove now bore a faint, unsettling bruise, and the rhythmic chiming of the light flowers grew more erratic, their harmony fracturing into a dissonant clamor of alarm. The serene peace of the celestial grove was now undeniably threatened, its ancient tranquility pierced by the encroaching darkness. The very air, once sweet with the scent of starlight, now carried a subtle, acrid taint, a scent of decay that sent a shiver down your spine. The star heart pulsed with frantic urgency now, its sapphire glow intensifying to a blinding white, then dimming to a desperate, deep blue, as if fighting for breath. The locket in your hand felt hot, almost burning, its iridescent feather vibrating with a feverish tremor, mirroring the frantic heartbeat of the ancient realm. The silent plea emanating from the star heart was no longer gentle. It was a desperate, telepathic cry, a call for immediate action. You looked from the encroaching shadow to the obsidian console, the cosmic symbols still shimmering faintly on its surface, and then back to the star heart, understanding with absolute certainty that the time for learning was over. Now was the time for doing. You instinctively returned your hand to the obsidian console, your fingers brushing over the shimmering cosmic symbols. The knowledge of the celestial archive, so recently absorbed, flowed through you, guiding your touch. You didn't consciously choose the symbols. Your fingers moved with an ancient, intuitive grace, tracing patterns that resonated deeply within your core. As you activated a sequence of specific runes, the console responded with a silent, powerful surge of light. Instead of projecting more images, the entire obsidian disk began to glow, its black surface transforming into a shimmering portal of swirling starlight and nebulae. A miniature cosmic ocean mirroring the vastness above. From this luminous portal, slender, shimmering tendrils of pure light erupted, stretching outwards like ethereal roots. They coiled around the base of the star heart, seemingly drawing energy from its core, then snaked across the ground, connecting to the glowing, translucent trees. As the light tendrils embraced the trees, their inner luminescence flared with astonishing brilliance, and the bell-shaped light flowers on their branches chimed with renewed power, their fragmented melody reforming into a clearer, more resolute chorus. The entire grove began to vibrate, resonating with a deep, powerful hum that was not one of fear, but of gathering strength, a magical surge that prepared for battle. The locket in your hand responded to this surge of power. The feather within, it pulsed, its vibrant blue light extending beyond the locket, forming a delicate, shimmering aura around your entire body. You felt a wave of concentrated energy wash over you, strengthening your resolve, clearing your mind, sharpening your focus to an almost preternatural degree. It was as if the ancient guardian's essence, contained within the feather, was awakening within you, guiding your movements, empowering your innate magical abilities with a celestial force you had never before known. You understood then that the locket wasn't just a key. It was a connection, allowing you to channel the dormant power of this sacred realm. With the feather's aura surrounding you, you instinctively knew the next steps of the ritual, the images from the archive, the spells, the alignments. They weren't just theoretical. They were an intricate dance of cosmic energy and pure intent. You raised your wand. The hazelwood surprisingly warm against your palm, and as you did, its tip didn't just glow. It blazed with a soft, sapphire light, matching the star heart's intense hue. You began to move, your steps becoming a slow, deliberate sequence, each movement aligning with the pulse of the star heart and the reforming melody of the light flower. This wasn't a spell you had learned. It was a ritual felt in your bones, a magic that resonated with the ancient rhythms of the cosmos. As you moved, tracing invisible patterns in the stardust with your wand, columns of pure, shimmering light erupted from the ground, following your every precise motion. These columns formed a protective barrier, a shimmering wall of cosmic energy, encircling the entire grove, creating a sanctuary against the encroaching shadow. The tendril of corruption, which had crept closer, recoiled with a faint, almost silent hiss, its distorted light flickering in frustration against the newly formed barrier. The star heart pulsed with a triumphant surge, a silent cheer of encouragement. But the ritual was not complete. The star heart's rhythm shifted again, growing more profound, and the locket in your hand vibrated with increased urgency. The projected knowledge from the console now directed your attention to the final, most crucial element, the star fruit nestled within the locket. It was the core of this realm's pure energy, the last bastion of its uncorrupted essence. You understood that this fruit was the key to empowering the barrier, to sending forth a wave of restorative light, strong enough to repel the shadow and, perhaps, to heal the cosmic wounds it inflicted. With profound reverence, you gently detached the locket from your hand, holding it delicately. The star fruit within pulsed with an inner light, radiating warmth. The columns of light forming the protective barrier intensified, drawing energy from the star heart, waiting for the final catalyst. You knew what you had to do. This was the moment of true commitment, the point of no return. To unleash its power, you had to release the star fruit from its protective casing, to allow its concentrated energy to merge with the growing power of the ritual. It was a leap of faith, a trust in the ancient wisdom that had guided you here. As you prepared to open the locket fully and release the star fruit, a subtle, unexpected change rippled through the air. The light flowers, which had been chiming with collective strength, suddenly faltered, their song becoming weak, almost broken. The vibrant blue in the locket's feather seemed to dim slightly. The star heart's urgent pulse hesitated for a beat. The barrier of light columns, though still standing, seemed to waver, its shimmering strength flickering. You looked up, a cold knot forming in your stomach. The tendril of corrupting shadow, despite the barrier, was now expanding rapidly, not breaching the shield directly, but subtly bleeding into the very fabric of the celestial sky above, like ink dissolving in water. Its insidious presence was seeping into the atmosphere of the grove, a chilling whisper of pervasive, ancient malevolence. The protective magic was holding, but the corruption was finding a new way in, a silent, almost imperceptible infiltration that threatened to unravel the ritual from within. You had to act, and fast. The encroaching shadow above, a silent, insidious stain bleeding into the very fabric of the celestial sky, intensified the urgency you felt, a cold dread clinging to your spirit. It was no longer just a distant threat, a mere theoretical concern, but an immediate and tangible presence, its distorted edges seeming to flicker with malevolent intent, slowly but surely consuming the vibrant hues of the cosmic heavens. The once pure indigo sky above the grove now bore a faint, unsettling bruise, expanding with each passing moment, and the rhythmic chiming of the light flowers grew more erratic, their once harmonious symphony fracturing into a dissonant clamor, of alarm, a frantic plea for interventions. The serene peace of the celestial grove, this hidden sanctuary you had discovered, was now undeniably threatened, its ancient tranquility pierced by the creeping, silent advance of the encroaching darkness. The very air, once sweet with the ethereal scent of pure starlight, now carried a subtle, acrid tang, a chilling aroma of decay and corruption that sent a shiver down your spine, promising dissolution. The star heart pulsed with frantic urgency. Now, its sapphire glow intensifying to a blinding white, then dimming to a desperate deep blue, as if fighting for breath, struggling against an unseen pressure. The locket in your hand felt hot, almost burning against your palm, its iridescent feather vibrating with a feverish tremor. mirroring the frantic heartbeat of the ancient realm itself, a desperate echo of its pain. The silent plea emanating from the star heart was no longer gentle. It was a desperate, telepathic cry, a call for immediate, decisive action. A silent scream across the cosmos for a champion to rise. You looked from the encroaching shadow to the obsidian console, the cosmic symbols still shimmering faintly on its surface, and then back to the star heart, understanding with absolute certainty that the time for passive learning was over. Now, and only now, was the critical moment for doing, for wielding the knowledge you had so swiftly acquired. You instinctively returned your hand to the obsidian console, your fingers brushing over the shimmering cosmic symbols, the immense knowledge of the celestial archives, so recently absorbed into your Ravenclaw mind, flowed through you, guiding your touch with an ancient, intuitive grace. You didn't consciously choose the symbols. Your fingers moved with a precision that felt almost preordained, tracing intricate patterns that resonated deeply within your core. Patterns that you now understood were pathways to cosmic manipulation. As you activated a sequence of specific, potent runes, the console responded with a silent, powerful surge of light. Instead of projecting more images, the entire obsidian disk began to glow intensely, its black surface transforming into a shimmering portal of swirling starlight and nebulae, a miniature cosmic ocean mirroring the vastness above, drawing energy from the depths of the celestial realm. From this luminous portal, slender, shimmering tendrils of pure light erupted, stretching outwards like ethereal roots seeking sustenance. They coiled around the base of the star heart, seemingly drawing boundless energy from its very core, then snaked across the ground with incredible speed, connecting to the glowing, translucent trees. As the light tendrils embraced the ancient trees, their inner luminescence flared with astonishing brilliance, and the bell-shaped light flowers on their branches chimed with renewed power, their previously fragmented melody reforming into a clearer, more resolute chorus, a powerful anthem of defiance. The entire grove began to vibrate with an almost seismic force, resonating with a deep, powerful hum that was not one of fear, but of gathering strength, a magical surge that prepared for an imminent, desperate battle against the encroaching corruption. The locket in your hand responded to this surge of power with palpable eagerness. The feather within it pulsed, its vibrant blue light extending beyond the locket's confines, forming a delicate, shimmering aura around your entire body, enveloping you in a protective cocoon of celestial energy. You felt an overwhelming wave, pull, concentrated energy wash over you, strengthening your resolve, clearing your mind, and sharpening your focus to an almost preternatural degree. It was as if the ancient guardian's essence, contained within the feather, was fully awakening within you, guiding your movements, empowering your innate magical abilities with a celestial force you had never before known, making you a true conduit of cosmic power. You understood then that the locket wasn't just a key. It was a connection, a profound link, allowing you to channel the dormant boundless power of this sacred realm, becoming its living extension. With the feather's potent aura surrounding you instinctively knew the next crucial steps of the ritual. The images from the archive, the intricate spells, the precise astronomical alignments. They weren't just theoretical constructs. They were an intricate dance of cosmic energy and pure, unwavering intent. A ballet of creation and restoration. You raised your wand, the hazelwood surprisingly warm and alive against your palm. And as you did, its tip didn't just glow. It blazed with a soft, sapphire light, matching the star heart's intense hue, becoming a true extension of its will. You began to move, your steps becoming a slow, deliberate sequence, each movement aligning with the powerful pulse of the star heart and the reforming melody of the light flowers. This wasn't a spell you had learned from a textbook. It was a complex, ancient ritual felt in your bones, a magic that resonated with the primeval rhythms of the cosmos, a dance of creation as you moved, tracing invisible, glowing patterns in the stardust with your wand. Powerful columns of pure, shimmering light erupted from the ground, following your every precise motion, rising majestically into the air. These columns formed an impenetrable protective barrier, a shimmering wall of cosmic energy encircling the entire grove, creating a formidable sanctuary against the encroaching shadow. The tendril of corruption, which had crept closer, recoiled, with a faint, almost silent hiss, its distorted light flickering in frustration against the newly formed incandescent barrier. The star heart pulsed with a triumphant surge, a silent cheer of encouragement, a breath of relief. But the ritual, as you now understood, was not yet complete. The star heart's rhythm shifted again, growing more profound, more insistent. And the locket in your hand vibrated with increased urgency, its warmth spreading throughout your entire being. The projected knowledge from the console, though no longer visually present, now directed your attention with laser-like focus to the final, most crucial element, the starfruit nestled within the locket. It was the concentrated core of this realm's pure energy, the last bastion of its uncorrupted essence, a miniature universe of pristine starlight. You understood that this fruit was the ultimate key to empowering the protective barrier, to sending forth a wave of restorative light, strong enough not only to repel the shadow, but, perhaps, to truly heal the cosmic wounds it inflicted, to reverse its insidious influence, with profound reverence and a sense of growing purpose. You gently detached the locket from your hand, holding it delicately before you. The starfruit within pulsed with an inner light that seemed to draw all other light towards it, radiating warmth and a powerful, protective aura. The columns of light forming the protective barrier intensified, visibly drawing energy from the star heart, waiting with an almost tangible anticipation for the final catalyst. You knew what you had to do. This was the moment of true commitment, the point of no return. To unleash its full, transformative power, you had to release the starfruit from its protective casing, to allow its concentrated energy to merge with the growing, surging power of the ritual. It was a leap of faith, a trust in the ancient wisdom that had guided you here. A moment of profound courage as you prepared to open the locket fully and release the fruit. A subtle, unexpected change rippled through the very air of the grove. The light flowers, which had been chiming with collective strength and renewed harmony, suddenly faltered, their song becoming weak, almost broken, a fragile whisper. The vibrant blue in the locket's feather seemed to dim slightly, its inner light flickering precariously. The star heart's urgent pulse hesitated for a beat, a moment of profound uncertainty. The barrier of light columns, though still standing, seemed to waver, its shimmering strength flickering like a dying flame, its luminescence dimming. You looked up, a cold knot forming in your stomach, your heart sinking with dread. The tendril of corrupting shadow, despite the barrier, was now expanding rapidly, not breaching the shield directly, but subtly bleeding into the very fabric of the celestial sky above, like ink dissolving in pure water. Its insidious presence was seeping into the atmosphere of the grove, a chilling whisper of pervasive, ancient malevolence, threatening to choke the very air of this sanctuary. The protective magic was holding, but the corruption was finding a new, terrifying way in. A silent, almost imperceptible infiltration that threatened to unravel the entire ritual from within, to undo all your efforts. You had to act and fast, before it was too late. The fate of this celestial haven, and perhaps more, rested in your hands. With a surge of newfound resolve, you made your move. Your fingers, steady despite the urgency, unlatched the locket completely. The starfruit levitated from its velvet bed, rising into the air between your outstretched hands, pulsating with a blinding, yet utterly gentle, light that momentarily eclipsed the surrounding glow of the grove. The air around you vibrated with a palpable surge of pure, unadulterated magic, responding to its release. The light flowers, sensing the liberation of their vital energy, responded immediately. Their fractured melody reformed into a strong, harmonious chorus, a triumphant symphony of resilience echoing across the celestial plain. The star heart pulsed with a powerful, steady rhythm, its sapphire glow returning to its full, vibrant brilliance, radiating a profound sense of relief and renewed strength. Guided by an instinct that felt as old as the stars themselves, you began to chant. It wasn't a chant of spoken words, but of pure, resonant tones, just like the ancient guardian's final incantation you had witnessed in the memory. Your voice, though still your own, carried an echo of that primeval power, weaving a spell of restoration and protection that resonated with every cosmic vibration around you. As your voice resonated through the grove, the light from the starfruit intensified, spiraling upwards with breathtaking speed, drawing the collective power from the glowing trees and the obsidian console, merging seamlessly with the very essence of the star heart itself. This combined colossal energy formed a magnificent, swirling vortex of pure, silver-blue light that ascended majestically towards the afflicted sky, a beacon of hope against the encroaching despair. The vortex met the encroaching, corrupting shadow. There was no violent explosion, no earth-shattering clash of opposing forces, as one might expect in a duel. Instead, the light from the fruit, empowered by the ancient ritual and channeled through you, began to mend the corruption. The distorted light of the shadow seemed to unspool, its malevolent edges softening, its murky colors dissolving into nothingness, like a nightmare fading in the dawn. The luminous tendrils of pure starlight from the vortex began to knit together, the frayed edges of the sky, patching the celestial fabric with threads of brilliant, new energy, weaving it back into wholeness. It was a process of gentle healing, not destruction, a restoration of balance to the cosmic tapestry that surpassed mere combat. Slowly, painstakingly, the pervasive stain of the shadow receded, defeated, retreating entirely from the celestial grove. The imperceptible, acrid temps in the air dissipated completely, replaced once more by the sweet, pristine scent of pure starlight and ethereal blossoms. The sky above the grove transformed, shifting from the bruised indigo to a brighter, deeper, more vibrant celestial blue, adorned with newly visible, shimmering distant nebulae that hadn't been apparent before, now blazing with their full glory. The protective columns of light, having served their crucial purpose, slowly dissolved back into the shimmering stardust from which they came, leaving the grove bathed in renewed, radiant peace, a sanctuary reborn. You stood there, the star now glowing softly, gently in your hand, feeling the immense power of the cosmos flowing through you, a profound, undeniable connection to the healed realm. By the lullaby of the cosmos, now fully restored to its harmonious glory, filled the air, a song of gratitude, boundless tranquility, and enduring magic. The star heart pulsed with a gentle, appreciative warmth, its task seemingly complete, its ancient heart at peace. You looked down at the locket, still open, its feather glowing softly. You instinctively placed the no-gentle starfruit back into its velvet bed. As it settled, the locket clicked shut with a soft, final sound, as if its mission was accomplished, its sacred contents once more safely contained, its purpose fulfilled. Then a subtle, profound shift occurred. The glowing trees, the light flowers, the very air of the celestial grove began to shimmer, not fading, but becoming slightly translucent, as if the entire realm was preparing to retreat, to withdraw behind its protective veil once more, awaiting its next calling. You realized that your time here was drawing to a close, a fleeting yet eternal moment. The locket, now closed and cool to the touch, pulsed gently, guiding you back towards the ethereal bridge of starlight, a silent invitation to return home. You took a deep breath, filled with a sense of immense accomplishment, profound wonder, and a quiet gratitude, and stepped onto the shimmering path, trusting its guidance entirely. The journey back through the cosmic ocean was as silent and serene as your arrival, a graceful descent through swirling galaxies and shimmering stardust, Soon, the familiar outline of the astronomy tower materialized before you, and you stepped back onto its cold stone battlements, the crisp midnight air, a stark, refreshing contrast to the celestial warmth you had just left. The locket, now perfectly cool and inert in your hand, was still a tangible testament to your extraordinary journey, a silent witness to the impossible. You tiptoed back through the silent corridors of Hogwarts, the familiar creaking of the ancient floorboards, the reassuring clanking of the suits of armor, the quiet snores from the portraits. All seemed more grounded, more real, more profoundly comforting after your cosmic adventure. Slipping back into your Ravenclaw dormitory, you gently placed the locket back under your pillow, its presence now a quiet secret between you and the stars. As your head met the pillow, a profound wave of peaceful sleep washed over you, a sleep deeper and more restorative than any you had ever known, a sleep filled with echoes of cosmic harmonies. As you drifted into slumber, a faint, familiar hum began to emanate from beneath your pillow once more. But this time, it was different. It wasn't merely the beckoning hum of the locket you had first discovered, pulling you into adventure. This hum was now coming from within you, a deep, resonant thrum, perfectly harmonized with the locket's faint vibrations, pulsed gently in your chest, in your very bones, a living echo of the star heart itself. You felt a quiet, comforting warmth spread through your body, like a residual echo of the immense power you had channeled forever, a part of your essence. And as you dreamt, not of stars or celestial groves, but of the familiar corridors of Hogwarts, above of your friends, of future lessons, a single, iridescent blue feather, impossibly delicate and shimmering with an inner light, materialized silently on your bedside table, just inches from your sleeping hand, bitter, which was not the feather from the locket, which was safely inside its casing under your pillow. This feather was new, vibrant, and utterly real, a silent, beautiful confirmation of the ancient essence that now truly resided within you, a part of the cosmos, forever woven into the very magic of Hogwarts. You were no longer just a student. You were a star weaver, a conduit of celestial light, and the universe had just truly begun to whisper its secrets, not to you, but through you.